Hey guys, happy Saturday. Today I want to talk to you about a subject that I deal with all the time in my training business with my clients and my students as well. So if this is not something that you've personally had to deal with, I'm sure you know people that have had to deal with that, and that is dog reactivity. So notice I didn't say dog aggression, I said dog reactivity. They're two, they have some things in common, but the way they look is usually the same, but the intention of the dog is not the same. So I want to talk to you about that because it seems like my training business sort of goes in waves of subjects where I'll have one week where I'll have nothing but separation anxiety cases, and then the next week I'll have something else. Recently, I have had this huge number of clients and students as well come to me with dog reactivity issues. I'm sure it comprises the vast majority of my business, I would have to say. So I want to talk to you about that because it's so common and it's so necessary that you get a grip on that for a variety of different reasons. So most people notice it when their dog is reactive on the street, when they're walking the dog, if they live in an urban environment and they're walking on a sidewalk and they have to pass other dogs, and their dog suddenly becomes reactive to dogs that are coming, or people. It can be both, right? So what'll happen is they'll either lunge or they'll whine. Then as it escalates, the human or the handler will sometimes not have the ability to redirect the dog to a different state of mind, and then it's embarrassing for the human and they stop walking the dog as much, and so on and so forth. So I want to talk about how people inadvertently set their dogs up to become dog reactive, because it's very common, and I did it long before I knew anything about dog behavior. I did it with my dogs as well, not realizing what I was doing. So there are some small things that we do, that we allow, these little nuances that make night and day difference in how the dog reacts to either a human or a dog coming towards them. One of those things could be that you allow your dog to lean on you. Okay, so when a dog leans on you, or sometimes they'll even take it a step further and they'll actually scoot up against you and then sit in such a way that they're actually sitting on top of your foot. So the problem with that is, to a lot of us, that seems cute. So what we do is we go and we nurture it. We pet the dog for that behavior without realizing that the dog is actually claiming us at that time. They're basically saying, this is my person, my human. It's a form of resource guarding. So one of the things that I talk about a lot, that I know you guys have heard this before, but it bears repeating, is that if we look at things, everything that a dog does from their perspective, not ours, we'll be able to resolve virtually everything, every issue in the dog behavior realm, everything. But we have to look at it from their perspective. So imagine, here's this dog, and of course dogs are pack animals, right? So in a pack there are going to be there's going to be a leader, and then there's going to be followers. And so there's going to be someone that the dogs deem to be strong and someone that the dogs deem to be soft. So in this case, if we're allowing our dogs to lean against us or sit on our feet, then from the dog's perspective, he owns us. Okay, so then how does that translate to reactivity on the street? Well, that's easy, because if the dog is basically reinforcing in his own brain that he owns you, then if he sees another dog or a human coming towards you, then he's going to become reactive to them and basically say to his handler, don't worry, I got this, I got it. I see the dog and the human coming towards us, but I can handle it. So now you've got a dog that's taken on the role of leadership and protection. So it's a reactivity that's based a lot on resource guarding and overprotectiveness, which have a lot of things in common as well. So other things that can contribute to this, when we allow our dogs to sleep with us, and I know this is not a popular subject because people don't want to hear it, but I have to tell you that it is a huge contributor to dog reactivity. I used to sleep with my dogs. I used to sleep with multiple dogs. I used to not sleep because I slept with so many dogs. That was a long time ago. I don't do it anymore for many reasons. But what happens is that the way dogs view status is very differently than the way we view status. We look at people that have a fancier car, make more money, have a higher position in our companies. There's a variety of different ways that we as humans view status. Dogs don't see things that way. Very different. So they look at status from a very physical and primal perspective. So if they're up high, they feel that they are in a higher position status-wise than we are. So that can be a real problem, especially when they're in bed with us. They're also sharing our intimate space. So our scent, everything about us, we spend, if we're lucky, 8 hours a day in bed. And if that dog is allowed to sleep with us, and especially if they're leaning up against us, hogging up the bed, they're reinforcing in their brain once again that they own us. I'm sure there's people out there right now that are going, that didn't happen with my dog, or that's fine. Continue on your way. I won't ever go back to it because I enjoy sleep so much, and I've never slept better in my life than after I got my dogs out of bed with me. But that's what happens a lot. You see, that's one of the first things I ask a client when they come here and they tell me their dog is biting or reactive or whatever. I ask them where the dog sleeps, because that's going to tell me a lot about how the dog sees himself in that pack. You also see it when people carry their dogs around a lot, small dogs, and they're up high all the time. So what happens then is that the dog sees himself, he's at eye level with other humans. So I know you guys have all heard of, if it hasn't happened to you, then you've heard of it, where people will come and actually try to pet a dog that's being held by someone else and they get bitten. Happens all the time. So that's another issue. Baby talk, another issue. So if dogs are going to see us as in a leader position, then if we're constantly baby talking them, you have to think about how you feel, what kind of presence that you have, that you're bringing to the dog when you're baby talking them. It's usually the softer side of you, right? So you wouldn't go to your office. Let's say if you have, a couple of hundred employees, you wouldn't walk into your office and go, "Oh, hi, everybody." You wouldn't go into that state with that tone of voice. You would bring more of a command presence. So you would stand apart from the people that work for you. You wouldn't be baby talking them. Not stand apart in a bad way, but in a good way. So that's a problem as well. Also, when we pet a dog when they're reactive, a lot of times clients will bring dogs that become reactive when they just see me when I come out of my house. They get reactive, and the owner's kind of knee-jerk reaction is to reach down and pet the dog and tell them it's okay. That actually escalates the problem. It nurtures the state of mind that the dog is in at that moment, and it makes it worse. So one more thing, and I'll leave it at that so the video isn't 10 hours long. If we allow our dogs to follow us around the house, not good. So think about it. Imagine if your spouse or your significant other or anyone in your family or your roommate, whoever, started following you everywhere you went, up into your room, into the kitchen, into the bathroom. That's neurotic. We wouldn't accept that from a person. So why do we accept it from our dogs? A lot of people see it the opposite way that it actually is. They think it's cute, they think it's sweet, they think that they are definitely the leaders because their dog is following them around, but it couldn't be further than from the truth. So my dogs I have a 2-story home, and my dogs will actually go on their places, which are actually just big beds. They have places in the backyard, they have them all over the place. But in the kitchen area where I kind of live, where I keep even though I have an office, I never use it. I sit with my computer there, I relax there, I cook dinner there, and my dogs will actually lay on their pillows there, and I can actually go upstairs and take a shower, and they don't even follow me. So it's not that they don't love me, it's that they know I'm going to be fine by myself, and they don't have this neurotic attachment to me that says that I have to be with her all the time. I have to watch out for her, I have to make sure she's okay. So that's something that you need to really watch for. Once again, think of it from the perspective of the dog, not your own perspective. Don't look at it from human terms that, oh, they must love me because they're following me. Look at it from the perspective of, this is really not healthy. This is not a neurotic association with me. So, you know me and place work, that would be one of the ways to resolve that, is give your dog what I would refer to as an anchor. So instead of following me around, why don't you go to your place and learn to decompress and relax? This is your do not disturb zone, right? It's your place, as opposed to following you. So all of those things, I wrote them down so that I could reiterate everything at the very end. But the things to watch out for if you are dealing with your dog being reactive, are leaning or sitting on you, on your foot or whatever, being on the sofa on top of you, that would be another one. Baby talking, which is showing a very soft side of yourself. Sharing the bed with your dog. Petting the dog when he's reactive, trying to go through the whole it's okay sort of routine that all of us have done at one time or the other, and allowing the dog to follow us through the house. One of the reasons that I wanted to bring this up is because as I said, I've got all these cases recently where people have actually tried to integrate another dog into their life, into their home, and they couldn't do it because the dog had become so overprotective of them and of their home that they wouldn't allow another dog to come in, which is a shame because there's so many dogs that need homes. And it was a shame to this one couple because they really wanted to integrate another dog into the home, but the other dog wouldn't accept it. So and also being able to walk your dog without being mortified by their behavior all the time. And it appears as if it's full-on aggression, and of course sometimes it will escalate to that point. But a lot of these dogs are the kind of dogs that will be reactive on leash, because your leash is kind of your umbilical cord to the human, right? So the human has seen the behavior before, so they do the wrap around the wrist kind of a thing with the leash, and they're so super tense, so the dog responds by being reactive. So there's so many different reasons for you to resolve dog reactivity. Nobody wants a dog like that. Everybody wants a dog that's cool and chill and allows other people and dogs into the life of their handler. So that's what I wanted to say about that. Just some things, some food for thought. And that's it. I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and send me your questions and your subject matter, because I love to have specific things that I can address with you guys, okay? Have a great weekend. Love you guys, and I will, if I can figure out how to turn this off, I will talk to you soon. Bye-bye.